Hello friends, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use PRI downloader. So this is a good alternative to download manager and other file downloaders out there. So the goodness with PRI downloader is that you can download any file, and it also has pause and resume support, and you're also able to cancel downloads. So you can have a look at the repo. All the documentation you need and implementation instructions are here. So to get everything working, you need the library. So you can download the library with the dependency here, or you can get the library which is already compiled in a local library app. So the local library app can be found on the Play Store. Just search local library and it should be the first one to come on the results. So I'm assuming you've got a project in which you want to implement the downloader library. The first thing we need to do is add the library. After you add the library, then we need to add the internet permission for our library to work. So let's open our Sketchware project. So once you're in your project, assuming you've already designed your layout, add the library in local library. So I've added the PRI downloader library there and activated it. Go back. In this design, I have a simple layout in which I've added the linear. In this linear, I've added a few buttons, button 1 and button 2. Then I also have a progress bar 1, and a text view called text view 1. The text view 1 will be the header of the file name, and the progress bar will show the progress of the download. And our button 1 will be our start and pause button, and button 2 will be the cancel download button. And I've also added the video view there. I'm not really going to focus on the video view because the main focus is the PRI downloader, but you might learn one or two things about the video view as well. Okay, so let's get down to the logic. In onCreate, we want to initialize the PRI downloader and create a few variables. So I've got a number of blocks here. The first one's here. This is just an instruction. So I've added the write string to path. This block adds read-write permission, which is required for us to download to storage. Then we've got this part. So I've got my URL here, and I've added a string URL. So you can add 3 strings: URL, the path, and file name. Then in URL, you input the URL to the file that you want to download. So for this test project, I've added a URL directly. The URL which you can get here can come from anywhere, database, it doesn't matter as long as it's a URL. Then I get the file name from my URL with get last segment path of URL. Then our path, we get the directory path of the downloads folder. You can save it anywhere you want, but I want mine to be saved to the default directory, which is the downloads directory. Then I initialize the PRI downloader at this context, which is my activity, and set the configuration of the PRI downloader and enable a few parameters like the database. A database enables us to continue downloads that were paused even when the app was closed. And we save this. So we are done with initializing the PRI downloader, and the other code below is just my customization for this project's view. It's not really important. Then we need to add one import. which is com.downloader.error. Then we add a public class. Let's call it start downloader. Open the more block, and here we're going to implement our start download and a number of listeners, and we also assign an ID to our download. So the ID will be stored in download ID integer. So I created this integer by creating a custom object, download ID. Then the download ID will be our URL. Then we also add the URL here and the path to where we want to download to and the file name. These are strings that we created earlier. And then we set listeners, and in these listeners you can configure as you want. So the first one, what I've done is on start or resume download, I want my button 1, which is the download button, to show pause, which means the download has started and it should write pause in case the user wants to pause. And I also show my progress bar. Then on pause listener, I make my button 1 show text resume, which means the download has been paused. Then on download cancelled, we cancel the download and toast download cancelled and set the button to start download. And we also set the progress to invincible. Then we want to get the progress of our download. We get the progress of our download to our progress bar 1. Then on start download listener, download complete, I want it to toast download is complete and set the button to re-download, and also set our progress bar 1 to invincible. The last one, the last listener, is on error. So when an error occurs, I want to toast an error has occurred and retry. Then set button 1 to re-download and hide our progress bar 1. Then we close our method. With this, you are done, and you should be ready to experience PR Downloader. So just go back and turn on app compat there, just turn it on. And let's test this project by running it. So to start a download, we click on the start download button. There we go, our download is ongoing and we're able to pause it. So we are downloading this video and we can resume it. And we're also able to cancel it. So I've cancelled the download. Let's download it again. Okay, so we've successfully implemented PR Downloader in Sketchware. You can download the sample project in Sketch. I will leave it there. Then you can also get the library from the official repository or in local library app. I will leave the links in the description.